Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is Legend of Zelda D&D campaign run by me, Articulate T. This is episode 66, and with me today, as always, we have playing Renji Vox, the Netherlad.
Good evening and season's greetings.
We have Hikan Sio, being played by Avrdal.
Hello.
We have Zaiden Shari, being played by Robopirate.
Hi there.
We have Max, being played by Keistra.
Hello.
So, I believe it is because we've now gotten to the end of a chapter. It's my turn to do the recap. Give you all a lovely Christmas present of a break from doing the recap. But yeah. So, last time on Hyrule Chronicle, our erstwhile adventurers had just finished vanquishing the menace that was the final leader of the Twilight Cartel, one Zilla a Gerudo and a magic user, whose insidious plot was to utilize the desperation of people around them to create magical and magically addictive magic items in order to control them through that desperation and also trade with them for their children so that they could eat them. So, you know, not a good person. After collecting the final bits of information that they needed, including one letter addressed to the cartel from one Torquin, bequeathing them the use of a familiar-looking magic user dubbed Maximus, as well as a receipt for the Cult of the Sovereign Hand, which implicated them in the assassination of Lord Simeon, as well as a letter written from one Delilah Summerborn, sister of Cassandra Summerborn, and supposedly the nefarious warlock who had assassinated the previous king of Hyrule. The gang were due for some level of break and rest and relaxation, and spent the week convalescing within the city of Hyrule Castle Town, as well as in and around Hyrule, just kind of getting their bearings and taking the time off that they needed, running into some familiar faces such as Tyrina Gaul, who had been doing a spot of journeying herself before she was making her way back to the desert to complete her training. And finally, the day before the new king's coronation, sitting down to finish the last pieces of paperwork with Mara before eventually having their picture taken and their group image permanently emblazoned in small image. Of good memories.
It stole our souls.
Can't take my soul, I already got none.
Belongs to somebody else. But yeah. After that bit of relaxation and resting, the day finally comes for the coronation. There are many celebrations within the streets. Lots of different stalls and games are dotted around the commercial district, and people are abuzz with chatter about what it's going to be like after Marius takes the throne. However, you are waylaid in this as a message comes for all of you from the desk of one Lord Fontsworth V, the Lord in charge of Lord in charge of civics, and they were the noble who you were directed to in order to see about purchasing a house. And the message says that they have something prepared that they'd like you all to come and have a look at.
I guess we'll go say hi then.
Yes, house.
Indeed. So
Make sure Max and I forget. Maximus is the white one. Maximilian's the red one.
Maxwell is the red one.
Maxwell. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will make sure that Maxwell is with us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're all. The instructions tell you to gather into an area in the Western Residential District, you are led to a small area here. On the map. There we go. I'm gonna move it over. Yeah. You are directed through these small streets and alleyways to a fairly decent looking house. It's about 3 stories tall, and it sits in the middle of a bunch of other houses as well. Not unlike any particular street. Standing outside the house appears to be a rather well-to-do sort of gentleman. He has this kind of very, very well manicured beard, combed back dark hair, dressed in fineries that are linked very heavily to Lord Fontsworth's family and personal crest. And he has with him in one hand a book. With you, of course, is Maxwell, as requested, as well as Mara, who kind of just is following you around. Mara has previously stated that she kind of still, like, if she has anywhere to live, she still lives technically at the castle, but is more than willing to help set up things as far as the housing is concerned. And she was the one to go and organize the deal, as it was. But as you approach, the well-to-do gentleman turns to you and gives a nod, and stands straight and says, "Oh, good evening. Or morning, I should say."
Good morning, my lord.
Not much sleep. Forgive me. I am Lawton. I am a scribe on behalf of Lord Fontsworth. I'm here to guide you around the property that you believe you want to purchase.
If it looks promising, then perhaps yes.
Very well. Follow me. And it leads you down to a couple of... leads you over to the building in question. And he kind of like stands in front of the front door. As said before, it is a 3-story building. There appears to be a chimney at the front that kind of is on the first floor of the house. The windows seem to have not been boarded over, but they've been draped over. To the north of the estate, there appears to be another building, a fairly small one, with no kind of doorway in front of it on a patch of dirt. And to the south, there is another small building, what appears to be beyond that, a stone tower, like a square stone tower, that sits next to the roadway.
And how tall is that?
That's also 3 stories tall. It's almost as tall as the main building in the center. And the building that's next to it is only a single story tall and looks fairly diminutive. It's around about 20 feet by 15 feet. And the Lawton turns around and says, "Now, this building also comes with the smaller building to the north there. Previously, that seems to have been used for a general storage area, as well as a place to keep a cart for the shelter. After all, rain, water can rot the wood, and it's not good to leave it out in the rain all the time. To the south, there's also a building that is part of the property as well. This is a smaller building. I believe the previous tenants utilized it for a shed, but it is suitable for dwelling if you were to patch it up a bit. And next to that is also a stone tower. It's more of an artifact of a previous time before the actual city walls had been established. It was just a simple watchtower, so to speak. But otherwise, it is also viable for use if you see fit to use it. The building itself has a number of rooms, so how about, and he reaches into like a pouch and takes out a ring of keys and sorts through them and takes one key out, and says, how about we go ahead and have a little look around. And he walks over to the door and with a quick motion unlocks it and heads inside.
Right. I will carefully follow. But I will keep an eye out, just in case.
Okay.
Gonna let everyone else go first.
Also,
they
I
know what they're
seem to...
doing better than me.
I'm going to make sure that I'm all at full health, because apparently I'm not in Roll20.
That's fine. I'm just gonna unlock a bunch of these actually on the inside because they're not going to be locked. Yeah. There we go. And he says, now, as I said, there are several rooms here. The place is currently unfurnished at the moment. The building has not been in use for quite some time, but it is
How long?
roughly 3 months.
Who were the previous owners?
I'll have to check. And he takes out his book and begins flicking through. Like at a glance, the inside looks okay. Like the building itself doesn't appear to be like in terrible condition. If anything, it looks to be better than you might have expected, considering how long it hasn't been in use. But there's still a significant layer of dust everywhere, and the floorboards creak a little as you walk on them. So they're not like terribly secure, but they're not about to break either. After a brief amount of checking, Lawton says, I believe this was previously owned by the Dinestra family. Husband, wife, 5 children. They had recently decided to move away to something more out in the country. I believe they were hoping to move somewhere in Azra.
So, without saying anything to him, how haunted does the place feel?
Give me a religion check.
I'll use guidance as well for a total of 13.
You can't be sure. Like you don't see any signs of a basement, and like there's no ethereal chill to the place. I mean, it's a bit drafty, but otherwise you don't
Give us a sign.
You don't think it looks terribly haunted. At least, like, it might require a bit more of a dedicated search at a certain point, but otherwise, yeah, you don't believe the place is haunted.
It's okay. Even if it was haunted, I could literally throw the ghosts out, so...
Yeah, but if it's haunted, we can get it for cheaper.
But yeah, Lawton will move in further into the room and say, now, there's 3 fireplaces on this floor alone. There's one here, there's one into the room south, and another one to the room further south beyond that. There's another 2 fireplaces upstairs, and the upstairs area also has a further few rooms that you may wish to explore. Otherwise, it is a fairly cozy affair, I believe. It's not a bad property. It's close to the commercial district. It's near the main road that leads out of the western gate. It's also close to Hyrule Castle if you are fond of any kind of parades that might be happening. I believe there is one going on today.
It does look nice.
Feel free to have an explore around if you so wish.
Very well. Is there a first... you said it had 3 floors, correct?
Yes, and he gestures to the stairs over here.
I would like to go and check upstairs, if that's okay.
Feel free. At which point I will move you over to the next floors.
Max is just kind of vaguely following Hikan around.
It's just Hikan's just wandering, going through into literally every room. Ah, that's where the second floor is.
Yeah, Maxwell just kind of like cautiously moves into the building and looks around. Kind of looks to Max inside and for affirmations like, is this a good thing? Is everything going okay?
It's just gonna shrug.
The only person- None of us actually know, like, if this is a goodbye, so to speak, because the only, except for maybe Zayden.
I'm going to have to.
Because we have.
I'm going to have to compare it to the hotels I've been staying in.
The
And to be
hotels
fair,
you've been
those are-
staying in, and also the castle you've lived in your entire life.
True. Like, I'm not going to compare it to the castle. But I am going to have to compare it to like the inns and stuff where if I were was traveling with Nihilus, like what that was like.
Well, you've also stayed everywhere from the from like the really expensive hotels that you'd said and that you did in Zora's Domain to like the really cheap ones,
Yeah.
such as in
Yes.
Drum.
Yes.
So-
The thing is, like, whenever like we were on states business, and we were there like as a matter of the diplomatic corps, then we would stay like in very nice places. But if we were on the road, it would have been just whatever we could get, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a window on the third floor?
Yeah, it's just that the curtains are somewhat closed.
Cool. I open the curtains, I open the window after taking a look around the third floor, and then I just hop out and
Okay.
fall.
Alright,
Sure.
let's see. I can find it's there we go.
So I imagine that Renji is just like coming up, inspects a couple of different rooms where Hikan does, and then just watches Hikan just jump out of the window.
See you in a bit.
Mara kind of blinks a bit as she turns around to see you coming up behind her and is like, "Oh hey, hold on, let me out of the way." Squeezes past Maxwell into the larger room here.
Hi. Looks pretty nice. Lots of rooms.
Indeed. Well, it was previously owned by a larger family. They certainly appreciated their children having an individual room each. They sold most of the furniture before their move out. I don't know what to use the building to the south for, but otherwise it's certainly a very hospitable affair.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Can we look at the other building?
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of, I would
Absolutely.
want to check that out.
As you head down, you see that there is a fairly small, squat building, single story. Also appears to have a chimney on it, and next to it is this square stone tower that reaches up 3 stories.
Cool. I like little things like that in real life too, honestly.
Renji has already figured out which room he wants, by the way.
Okay.
Is it the big one?
It is the big one on the first floor.
The metal door on this tower screeches open on rusty hinges. While it's not visible on the map itself, there is a ladder in the square that you are currently standing in, Renji. And that heads up to an open hole on the next floor above.
I want to go up.
Okay, so you head up. You find that the ladder goes up through, that single ladder goes up through all the floors available on
Okay.
on that tower. The top one is
And it, like, save for the ladder, is it completely empty?
yeah. Yeah, there's like elements where there appears to have been like hay and stuff in this particular area. At the top of the ladder is a trapdoor which you push open, and the last floor of the tower is just an open parapet sort of thing.
Hmm. Interesting. Not sure what we'll be using this for, but we can certainly find some use for it.
Yeah.
And then this building here is more like a extra room or something.
Essentially, yeah. Like as you I just need to zoom in a bit so I can click on the door and get rid of it.
Hmm.
It's kind of this very small area, and is separated into two rooms. The last room of which appears to have a dirt floor, but it also has its own little fireplace area for it. You're not sure exactly what it's used for, yeah, but I mean, it seems sturdy enough.
I mean, it could be used for someone's personal room or something like that if they just want some alone time or some space. But yeah. Oh. It looks very nice so far. I mean, hasn't been lived in a bit, but that's okay. We could fix stuff.
I was just having the internal thought that if housing shows have taught me anything, we need to look at like another two, even if this is the one we want.
Not to seem overeager, yeah.
Things are broke, I can fix them.
Yeah. You feel pretty confident about that. Okay. So then how much would it be?
Well, by itself, a property like this would probably run you roughly 1,750 gold pieces. But if you are intending on utilizing it for any other services besides the simple act of living in it, there are possibilities for a discount. Generally speaking, if you have any intention on turning this into a place of business.
Are we getting a discount on a for being, the heroes of the town, and the advantage of having said heroes living in the town easier to get a call out when something happens?
That is true. That would ordinarily be the case, but unfortunately, due to certain other circumstances, I am also been made aware, or at least Lord Farnsworth has been made aware, that you are also rather likely to travel as far as other locations, so it's entirely possible the place will not be, well, having said heroes in it to be on call at any given note. So it balances out somewhat.
He's got a point.
True, but we do kind of want to have a dedicated presence here.
True. At which point that comes to the question, will it simply be a home for you, or will you be turning it into something of a guild hall?
We can
That's a
start
good
a
question.
guild.
What's a guild hall?
A guild hall is a place where, essentially, while it has the capability of into it, it is used for the sake of training and housing and distributing work to others of your profession, other adventurers like yourselves.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
If we open a guild hall, do we have to do things with Mr. Rickshaw, or Lord Rickshaw?
Well, you would be employing adventurers, and that would fall under the domain of the Lord of Labor, so yes.
I say we do it, and then we do nothing but hire people not from Hyrule Castletown, he says to the rest of the party.
I concur.
I do not disagree.
I think we should maybe think on that for a bit.
That is perfectly fair.
Agreed.
If you
If
were,
we're not gonna be here, who's gonna train them?
you would have to hire the staff to do that, as well as other administrative staff and simple housekeeping. I mean, who among you is going to be staying here for the longest duration?
Slow turn towards Maxwell.
Yeah, I think that's a bit much.
I mean, I think we could probably. We don't have to do it right now, do we? Like, do the guild hall thing?
No, but that might be a thing for later on.
Essentially, from what I gather, starting a guild hall would be would have you do to be given a grant, as it were. That is where the essential discount comes in. You will still be paying the full 1,750 gold for the property, but then afterwards you would be given a grant in order to help kickstart this guild hall of yours. Things to cover basic maintenance costs and other factors. That grant would be roughly 500 gold pieces. So you can, if you wish to, purchase the property as a dwelling now and then get the grant later.
That is possible, but... And I look at the rest, I'm not entirely certain. Like, I like the idea of having a guild hall staffed with, well, people of all ilk. It is... I don't think it is a sustainable thing if we don't really know what to do with them.
Yeah,
So wait on it.
I suppose a different question would be, is there the need of having a guild of adventurers? Is there that much going on?
That's a good question. Give me I'll use everybody's passive insight.
Oh dear.
Over the past couple of days, since word had gotten out that a nefarious evil cartel of spellcasters and magic item creators and stuff had been manipulating things in the background, and a brave group of individuals had gone forth and stopped them through their own cunning and skill and strength and whatnot. Since word about that has gotten around, there has been a bit of an uptick in regards to adventurers wanting to go out and do things. Like, the whole adventuring boom sort of deal kind of dwindled out a couple of years prior to the campaign starting. Like, there was a bit of it after the Civil War started dying down because there was still stuff that needed to be done. Soldiers were being laid off and needed stuff to do and didn't want to turn to banditry. So it had kind of gone downhill, but then you guys did your thing, and now more people are wanting to go adventuring again because, hey, there's heroes out now, and they want to do things like the heroes do.
No, my question was the other way around, as in, is there enough rats to kill, enough bandits to capture?
Well, that is a different story. Kind of, I think. I mean, there's not much that has really happened by comparison. Like, bandits are always a problem on the road. And there's word going around that there is a cult out there. But then again, that's having a bit of a mixed reaction. Some people are saying that the cult is fine. Like, people are genuinely believing that the Sovereign Hand is not anything nefarious. They just want to help people talk to their dead relatives and all that kind of stuff. Others think that the Sovereign Hand is a genuinely evil force that needs to be destroyed, and therefore there are people taking up arms against it. There's still fighting going on in the West, so some adventurers are just acting as mercenaries for either side to do odd jobs while the main fighting is continuing to go on. Otherwise, like, the only real problems that have been happening would be small bands of bokoblins and moblins, and other
and the stuff that we have dealt with,
and the stuff that you have dealt with. So it's not as active as you might think. There might be there being a concern of a lack of work is a legitimate one. At this point in time, it's not like there's literally nothing to do, but there might not be enough to do to warrant a packed guild hall, so to speak.
which is why Max is suggesting that we wait on it.
It would then end up going the other way of it's like, okay, here's a random odd jobs. This person needs a broom. Who can find them a broom?
That's also another key concern as well, because when you guys first started working for Lord Simeon, Rickshaw only agreed to it under the condition that you were doing other odd quests here and there, basically curated by him. So you might run into the same situation where he's basically being the one to give you the majority of your quests, which will be finding him a pet or doing this thing or that thing, which doesn't seem particularly exciting, comparatively speaking.
Oh no, if we want to deal with him, the easiest way is that we have our large guild and we just send him every single request and make him sign them off. It's like, oh well, we've got 5,000 requests today and you need to look through each one of them.
When are we going to get that many requests?
Well, we don't let him read all of them. The last few are just scribbles and crayon.
Hey! Sorry. But no, a dwelling would work, and then if you want to do it at Guildhall later when there's more stuff for adventuring and people feel, about it, you can get there.
We also need to figure out how much space we need to live in.
Yeah. There is also that.
So for now, it's just our house.
In the middle of our street.
Kind of is in the middle of a street, come to
It's not necessarily our street.
Not yet.
Give it time.
Alright.
So Lawton says, so, are you willing to purchase this home?
We just need, God, what have I done? I was thinking we need to just lower the price.
I can pay for the entire thing and still have money to spare because I haven't spent any of my money yet.
No,
I don't need money. I have 900 gold pieces.
But it's the principle of the matter.
Let's just say, like, Oakley, come on, can we get this over with?
I'm just gonna look to Renji, the one who actually probably has persuasion.
I'm certainly willing to maybe discuss price and maybe get the name of a good carpenter, furniture maker at the same time. I'm basically going to ask this person if it's possible for a discount outside of the guild places, and given our talents, if there's maybe something that he needs done.
Okay. So how?
His boss needs done.
Yeah.
Yeah, for instance.
Lawton kind of frowns a little as you put the towards says, I'm not so sure. Perhaps. And he kind of thinks on it a moment as he opens his book and looks through it again just to check over the acquisition price and all that kind of stuff, like taxes and everything that comes according to it. He says, I'm not sure. Give me a persuasion roll.
All right then. That's 23.
A pretty good persuasion.
Cool.
He kind of like thinks on it a little further, and says, "Probably drop the price if I were to negotiate with others. Down to 1,500, perhaps, if that is a more reasonable offer."
In exchange for what exactly? I understand you're not just going to drop 500 gold pieces off the price for nothing.
Oh no. Let's see. He kind of looks over it and says, Damn, what would he or Fontsworth need?
Cleanse the haunted house?
Probably called clerics for that.
Yeah. He just sends a missive off to the chaplains or something if that were to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but they have to use spells. I'll just go in there, grab it by the collar, and just like, wait, you can touch me?
Stop it! No.
Put the ghost in a headlock.
I know what to do. He says, well, over the recent weeks, we've had a bit of a development in regards to properties that are present to us. An estate had come under our ownership as the deed had been found, and after it had been made safe again, I should say, we would like to have a collection of go over to fix up the place in regards to sold potentially again. Do you know of anything of the Artemark estate?
We are aware of it, yes.
Well, we have a collection of carpenters on their journey. Not today, mind you. It's a bit of a busy day today, but if you are ready, and perhaps you might be able to escort them towards that location so they can get some work done.
I don't see why that can't be the case. However, that is very time sensitive. We are waiting for the coronation, of course.
Oh, of course. Well, the coronation is today, so
Yes.
it's not going to be happening today. No, it will be...
Okay, good.
They are essentially on hold until such time as an agreement can be made for their safe passage, so to speak.
All right.
We have to go west anyway, right?
That's true. Does this require a return trip?
They will be working on it for a while, but I'm sure that we can send out a letter to you if they need an escort back home.
Cool.
Well, if you're willing to provide such services, then I will be more than happy to drop the price to 1,500.
And I look around.
Do we pay you?
I can take care of the transaction.
Okay.
Okay. So how do we want to divvy it up?
I can pay for it in full.
So can Max. And Max isn't
You
going to
guys
spend his money on
want-
much else, because he doesn't buy magic items as much.
I think most of us can pay it in full. It's just
True.
if we are doing it one person in full.
I don't. I know I don't, and I've already got the magic items that I want. If we find things that are cool later, that's great. I've bought what I want.
Max also wants to make sure that Maxwell has a place to stay.
Yeah.
So that's why he's willing to pay for all of it.
Okay, one person can pay for
Like
the property.
I think
Another person can pay for the furniture.
that is fine. I don't mind either. I also agree with Max that there should be a place for allies to stay.
Cool.
So I'm just like the whole idea of this was definitely get a place for Maxwell to be, to stay and not get in trouble with like homelessness and stuff like that.
It certainly
So-
looks like there's going to be lots of spaces to use, and I'm sure that Tyrina and Sho might be interested in having a room if they ever return.
Yes, as either as guests or as roommates. Is that the word?
So, point of order. When did Tyrina show up during the week? Was it at the end?
It was kind of midway through.
Okay, so she's probably out of range if we decided to throw one of the papers at her.
Yeah, she's probably quite close to the desert by now. She's not already there.
Right.
Okay. It's just gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, next time you're in Castletown, here's our new address. Funk. Okay. Sure. And then like Hikan, just because no one's like moving forward with it or anything, just starts.
So Max
grabbing
is taking his bag.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna get the money out in a smaller bag. Because he's probably had at least one smaller bag in the time that we've been working.
Yeah. Yeah, he will gladly take the money. He won't count it. But afterwards he kind of takes out several sheafs of paper from his book, and places them on the flat, like closes the book and places the things on there, and takes out a pencil and says, "I'm going to need a signature from everybody as a collective homeowner in this regard." Kind of passes you guys the pencil and the pad and stuff.
Yep. Renji just signs and puts down the seal.
Awesome. Yeah, as you all kind of sign it in your own way, Lawton kind of takes back the paper, puts the paper in the book and closes it. He then hands you the full ring of keys, which should be for pretty much every door in the place. There you go. Congratulations, you are now the proud owners of this property. If there are any other further details that need to be taken care of, I shall be round whenever I can.
Did he advise someone for furniture?
Oh, he didn't. Well, there are a number of carpenters around Hyrule Castle Town. I cannot say for certain that I have anyone particularly in mind. Specifics. But if you were to shop around slightly, you might be able to find one in the commercial district. I believe there are a number of traders and workmen in the more southern areas of the commercial district near the delightful little blacksmith that is run by that Goron fellow. A number of them meet up there to trade tips and work together on projects if anything kind of coincides, so to speak.
I think Biggs or Wedge was at a blacksmith, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tony was apprenticing at Goron Works. Polly, thus far, is still out of work.
Well, we have some options then.
Excellent. Well, and with that, I shall leave you to your home. Have a lovely day.
And you as well.
We'll
I do say to him that we'll be probably be at the house here after the coronation, in case he wants to discuss any specifics about the escort mission.
Of course. And he makes his way out, leaving you to your lovely new home. Now, just so I know which rooms are which, did you guys want to use the freehand tool to pick your room, if you have anything in mind?
Might be good to turn off dynamic lighting then, if
Ah.
it's...
That's a good point.
This is one for me. I want this one.
I had a feeling you'd take that one. But yeah, so
Unless there's someone who's willing to debate.
yeah, so mark your rooms, and then over the course of the next
Next
while,
gonna take Maxwell around and ask him which one he wants. And be very encouraging to help him pick one, because
he says that I'll drop it and drag his token. I'll put him here. This is the room that
Okay.
he would like. But yeah, let me know what. So when you pick your rooms, and then if you want to tell me what is specifically in your rooms, furniture-wise, and I'll try and sort that out over the course of when that
Okay.
happens.
Nope. That looks ugly. Yeah. I will go ahead and do this more in a message, though, so that way you have it for reference later.
Yay. That's fine. That's okay. We won't sort it out later. So, well, we won't sort it out now. We'll sort it out later. So, like, if you have an idea as to what you would like in your rooms, then just let me know, and I will see if I can try and find furniture tokens that do the job.
All right.
Bookshelves.
Did you have? I'll save it. Mara will take this one if anything. But did you guys have any preferences on any other additional rooms that you would like available in your place?
We'll probably want like a study or something for the people who read.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we need a library for all you guys' books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I assume you probably also want something like a kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen, place for everyone to sit together.
Yeah.
Probably down on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. And
And,
probably also
and
guessing
this one up here can be a sitting room.
Yep. And then
maybe
Pantry. Need a place
Yeah.
to store the
They
food.
can be the rooms off the side. Yeah.
If we can maybe knock down this wall.
Which one?
I think he wants to knock down, say, this wall, make his room bigger. Oh, that one.
that
Yeah,
one.
that one. If we want to have like this as a dining room, and here as a kitchen.
Okay. Yeah, that seems fairly reasonable. I'll have to see if I can find the appropriate tiles for it, but I should be able to knock down that wall if needs be.
Also, we still have like big rooms if Maxwell wants this one or that, this one or this one.
Ah,
He picked his room.
he picked
Okay.
his room. He's okay.
That's fair.
He picked a nice tall room.
Yeah.
I just picked this one because it's a window right next to the front, so it's like, whee!
Yeah.
That one's going to be more of a closet, I think.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
I really
so.
loved it.
But yeah. Grand. That sounds real nice.
Just put it nose.
Okay.
Those down. But yeah. So after you have purchased your home and been given the keys and stuff, like how do you stay there for too long, or do you have other business that you need to tend to after things are sorted? The coronation will be later tonight, which will include a nice fancy ball, as well as the actual ceremony.
Max will go around and do a few, repairs of things that need repairing.
Okay.
I will help Max in case Max needs to take a boost for that.
Mending.
That's okay. So as you go around and take care of it, sometime later there is a knock at the door, a rather furious one, like.
Zidon will open it.
Okay.
Are you
Opening
expecting anyone?
opening it appears to be a sprightly-looking fellow in what appears to be a white unitard, and he has a red cap on and a flag strapped to his back. It says, "Excuse me, male. Does a Hikan Sio live at this address?"
He does.
Can I hear that from like where we're at?
Yeah, I think so. The walls are thin
Okay.
enough.
The
Cool.
mail is magic.
I kindly set Max down,
Okay.
and then whichever room that we're in fixing things, Hikan will go ahead and dash all the way down.
I was wondering if you're just gonna go out the window.
I don't know if we're there or not, and it might be easier for me to get to the stairs than just out the window.
Okay. So as you get downstairs, the postman says, "Oh, hello. Hikan Sio, right?
Yes.
Awesome." Takes out a letter and gives it to you. Says, "Here you go. Right on time too. Any mail that you need to be given to me before I dash off? I've got a lot of deliveries to take care of today."
I don't. Anyone got any mail that they need delivered?
Not right now.
No.
Slide
No.
will shake his head, and he'll offer the boy a good berry.
Oh.
It'll give you lots of energy.
Thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Right. Well, I'll be off. Take care. And he immediately turns around and runs off. Because apparently all postmen in Hyrule go on foot.
At max pace.
At max pace. Never stop. As you watch him head away, Hikan, you seem to have been given a letter with the envelope having your name written on it. No address or anything at all. It's a wonder how this man had actually found you guys, considering you just bought this place. But yeah, he has written you with a letter with your name on it, written in a familiar handwriting.
Okay, yeah, no. Hikan will be. We'll go ahead and do that. Step over to the side so he's not blocking the doorway, and then read his letter.
Okay. You open the letter, and it should be in your documents.
Okay. Hikan sits there and reading it. Takes him a little bit, as reading normally does. But as he kind of gets through it, he tucks it, puts it in his pocket next to the Book of Mudora, and is looking pretty positive. Very
Okay.
smiley. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wondering, if Hikan looked at stuff through the telescope of translation, would it be easier for him to read?
Nope.
Ah.
But yeah. So after that brief interruption, the rest of the day kind of goes without interruption at all.
At some point, Maxis just go, wait, shit, and then runs out to go pick up his things from Uriel that he forgot about.
Oh no! But yeah, there is a brief moment as the next person who comes up to the door appears to be a scribe dressed in the royal colours. And says, boy knocks on the door, and then when the door is answered, I do hope I have the right place. I'm looking for the Storm's Eye. Your presence will be requested at the ball tonight, in the next couple of hours. Of course, formal attire is expected. Are you willing to come to the coronation?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Well, when you are ready, please make your way to Hyrule Castle, and you will be guided towards the ballroom for a brief party and talk, perhaps a meal, and then the coronation shall begin. And with his message delivered, he bows and casually makes his way back in Hyrule Castle town.
We should get a plaque on our door.
Yes, that is definitely something that we need to figure out. Renji is probably going to head to the castle to change clothes.
Okay.
He hasn't really moved out yet.
Do you want to give us a list and we can meet you at the castle to give to the carpenter peoples so they could do the stuff?
Yes, that's a good idea. Renji just quickly scribbles bed, table, chair, bookcase, wardrobe. Definitely needs a wardrobe.
Okay.
Excellent.
And then if Max hasn't returned, Hikan will wait for Max before seeing if Zaid and Maxwell want to go to the carpenter. And Mara.
Mara excuses herself after a while, says that she's going to be heading out to take care of some last-minute business and also change for the ball later on. But otherwise, yeah, she'll catch up with you guys soon enough. She gives you, if asked for a list, she gives you a very basic list, which is mainly just bed, desk, and really that's it. That's all she really asks for. And she does provide you with the money needed in order to get that one sorted too. But yeah, so do you head over to the carpenters?
If they don't want to, Hikan will just get lists from everyone and then just head over and just be like, we need this at this address.
Zayden will go with Hikan.
I don't know if I'm back from Uriel's yet.
Hikan will wait for you to get back from Uriel's to ask you directly. So.
Yeah. Uriel, you managed to get your stuff back from Uriel fairly quickly. He doesn't really waste any time. He just provides you with the stuff that has been worked on, and it works as expected to have worked.
Yeah.
So you're all set.
My glove of magic.
Yeah. Yeah. So heading down to the carpenters. Heading down to the carpenters, you manage to find what appears to be just a short ways before Goron works. Appears to be a fairly small building. It appears to be a fairly small building in which looks fairly plain. But on the sign above the door, it appears to be called the Twin Saw Initiative. Inside, you see a small room with a pair of broad-shouldered Hylian women, both of which having brown hair. One cut short, the other one tied into a ponytail. And they seem to be bickering with one another about something. From if uninterrupted, the argument appears to be just a general squabble, which has more or less been about living arrangements. I think it just sounds like they've gotten tired of living with each other. But they look identical, so you can only assume that the twin sword initiative means that these two women are twin sisters. But as you enter, and after a while, one of them looks over and says, "Oh hey,
Hi.
hi. Sorry about that. I'm Jess. This is Sam. We run the place." And Sam looks over and says, "You mean I run the place?" And so, don't start now. We've got customers. So, how can we help?
We recently bought a house over in the West Residential District, and Hikan will give the address. And we need furniture.
For the whole house? How big is it?
3 stories.
3 stories. Okay. So they kind of like briefly look at each other and then both take out like pads of paper and a pencil. It says, 3 stories, huh? How many rooms?
We didn't count.
We provide the number of rooms.
Someone with a better memory provides the number of rooms.
You provide the number of rooms, and they both like look to each other again and say, "Okay. Do you have a list of stuff that we need?"
I have a couple of lists for a couple of personal things, but really there's nothing in there at all. So we kind of need just about everything. And then like Hikan will just go over. He's very simple like Mara as well, just kind of a desk, a chair, and a bed.
Okay.
Max just asked for a chair and some bookshelves.
This item would be desk, chair, bed, shelves. I would also mention we're going to need some kitchen stuff.
And stuff for sitting in the main area, and and he's
Dining
just like
room.
Hikan, every time Hikan thinks of something, he just goes, "Oh, and then oh, and."
They're both writing down separate things on their pads of paper, but there's kind of like the level of exasperation kind of seems to visibly grow as you're going through this whole thing.
Question.
Hmm?
Question.
Mhm.
Are they identical twins?
Yes.
Max is just staring.
I'd like to at least assume that some of the level of exasperation is countered by the fact that every time we add a thing, that's something else to sell.
Yeah. But they're just kind of going through the tally and everything of like it's clear that as like from a business perspective, great, an entire house needs furnishing and they're being asked to do it, which will take a while, but it's a lot of money, but it'll take a while that's the core thing that's currently going through their minds. But they keep on writing things down. And eventually Sam looks up and says, "Are you gonna need things like utensils and stuff, or is it just the furniture that you're..."
We'll need utensils as well.
Okay. And she kind of like leans on the table that she's behind and thinks. And after a moment, she looks to you and says, "This might take a bit more time than expected, but we'd like to make sure that we get this all sorted out. We're gonna try and see if we can collaborate a little bit with another business. Goron Works will speak to about the more metalwork aspect of what you're looking for. But
That sounds perfectly appropriate.
But for bedding and everything, we'll do what we can. We'll also may need to speak with Ike at Crossroads Cross Stitching to see if he can provide some kind of linen. Let's see. I think this is perfectly doable. It might just take a couple of days, but we'll get there. We'll we have your address, so we'll put the bill through the door and get back to you as soon as we can. We won't start work until we get our payment, of course. Half now, half when the job is finished, and we'll make sure that everything is according to plan. But for the moment, we just need to tally all this up, speak with the folks at Goron Works, speak with Ike, maybe speak with a couple of other business people. Jamal we might need for any kind of leather work, but otherwise, yeah, we'll get back to you.
Very well.
At rough estimate, we're probably looking at somewhere in the region of 50 to 70 gold pieces, but otherwise, yeah, I think we can do something.
50 to 70 for the whole price or the upfront?
For the upfront, and then it'll be the same again at the other side. So a total of roughly 100 to 140 gold pieces.
Okay.
Can I roll an insight to see how bad they want to move out of each other's house or whatever they're doing with their living arrangement?
Sure.
Like, is it just sibling bickering, or is it really natural 2028?
Is it a problem or a problem?
Yeah.
It's like you can tell that the two of them care about each other. They do they do value each other as sisters, because they're not at the point where it's getting in the way of their work. It's just that it seems like their relationship is more or less just constructed around their frustrations with each other.
Okay.
But they don't look like they are like on the brink of physical conflict or anything like that.
Okay. So it's just more they've been too close together for too long. Okay.
Yeah.
They might need a short break from each other. Hikan takes a look at that. Here's about 50 to 70 gold pieces for the upfront cost and goes, okay, so I know that you haven't tallied it yet, and he pulls out the 10 platinum that he has and puts it on the counter.
They both
Go
kind of, like,
ahead.
stop and stare at the platinum on the table.
Just for now, we'll consider this the upfront, and we'll take care of the rest when it's done.
Like
If that's okay.
Jess picks up a platinum piece and it's like, real? And it's like, I think so.
You can bite it if you like, we won't be offended.
It's just, we haven't really seen platinum before. This is platinum, right? I mean,
Would you prefer gold?
I mean, it's value is it's still the same value. It's just we have.
Wait, let's do it in gold. Make it easier for them.
It's
But
fine.
that's easier to carry.
Really, it's okay. It's just, like I said, we've never seen anybody be carrying platinum around. So it's just a bit. It's just a little bit. I mean, we'll get on to work as soon as we can. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
No
yeah.
rush. Take your time. Do what you gotta do. It's just. Khan's just doing his smile and his wave. Okay. It's really appreciated. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for providing business. Yeah, we'll take care of the rest of it. Enjoy the rest of the celebrations. We'll get to work right now. They are genuinely stunned considering most things, but yeah, they then start work on like estimations.
And in reaction to that tone, Max just goes, "Sorry."
But yeah, they just immediately begin work. Yeah. Furniture requested. They'll hopefully provide you with some good quality things.
We're outside. Max outside, and how do they look the same?
That just sometimes happens with normal births.
Okay. Back in thinking mode now.
If you really wish, I can certainly tell you about the birds and the bees.
No, it's are Maxwell and I the same?
I do not know. It's possible.
Back to thinking.
Yeah, as you is there anything else you need to take care of in the process of between now and the actual coronation stuff?
Someone should probably tell Max we're going.
Oh,
We'll let Max know, and we'll also. Are we meant to be going to like the fancy party, or should we get a fancy dress?
Do we still have the fancy dresses from last time?
You should
think
still
so.
have the fancy dresses from last time. Whether or not you go to the coronation ball is entirely up to you. Like, I probably should have explained a bit better. When the scribe turned up, he gave you kind of like a missive in addition to explaining, but essentially your presence is requested not only for the actual coronation, but also for a meeting with the new king in regards to what to do next. Whether or not you go to the ball itself is your choice, but they won't keep you beholden to it. They specifically want you there to see Marius become king, and then business of being a royal task force and what to do about finding Sophitia, as well as dealing with these new problems that the cartel had made before they were destroyed by all of you.
Okay. Max hears about the ball, has severe flashbacks to the last one, and says, "Can I not go?"
I think that's fine.
I'm gonna stay at the house.
You can keep an
You
eye
don't
on
have to be at the ball, but you will have to be at the meeting, I think.
I want to go. I don't want to go.
I understand, but
the ball's fine. Max doesn't have to go to the ball.
No, it's not.
Max doesn't have to go to the ball. You don't have to. I mean, there's other stuff. Like there's the fright stuff on a stick that's going on. People are still probably selling that. If you wanted to, if you wanted to show Maxwell that.
Hmm.
And there's also the sweets and other things. There's other stuff to do to kill time.
I'll meet you at the meeting.
Okay.
Meeting.
Zaiden's going to go visit Uriel if he has a chance then. Actually, do I even need to visit Uriel for what I'm thinking?
I think you already went recently.
It's fine, I literally just want to get the smallest, most inconspicuous arcane focus that I can use.
A ring or something?
Probably going to be something like
Would you like to contemplate the ones in Tasha's?
Oh, there's more in Tasha's.
Mm-hmm. There's some pretty cool stuff in Tasha's.
You can get. I think there's a druid specific one, isn't there?
There's a every class specific one.
Yeah.
So you could look at that.
What you can probably do then is we'll discuss that a little bit after the session's done, and then you can pick up your thing from Uriel maybe later on.
The point was to have, say, wearing fancy dress but not walking around with his quarterstaff, just ready to cast magic when it inevitably goes wrong. He has no faith that this is going to be a perfectly ordinary ball.
Yeah.
Currently, 100% of royal balls that you have attended have gone horribly, horribly wrong, so I don't blame you for that.
1 out of 1, exactly.
There's a bell branch. Cauldron's a bit. There's a sickle.
Moon sickle would probably be a bit more subtle.
Yeah. Otherwise, if like a standard sort of druidic focus without any kind of magic enchantment, the smallest is probably going to be a sprig of mistletoe that you can just have in a pocket.
Wait,
I
that's
have
that already then.
Yeah.
No, I already have that. I didn't realize that was a focus.
You could just go pick that from a plant.
Yeah. Druidic focuses
so-
are either a sprig of mistletoe, a totem, a wooden staff, or a yew wand.
So in that case, it's basically my fancy dress is be completely fancy dress with just a sprig of mistletoe like around my wrist. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's just an accent.
You
I
could
see.
just put the sprig of mistletoe in like your suit pocket,
No, if I have it around my hand, it's ready to go straight away.
like a sprig of celery.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Would Max and Maxwell like a company for the rest of the day? Since Zaiden's going to Uriel's before the ball.
I have the mistletoe. I don't actually need to go.
I mean, if you want the two of us to check out what's going on in town, you should probably accompany us there, then leave us there.
Sure. Like Hikan will do that, but Hikan is also like the person who's like, oh, look, funnel cake, and got everyone funnel cake the last time that
Yeah.
there was one of these celebrations.
Yeah, get things started.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll go find fried meat on a stick and
Yeah.
give it to Maxwell.
Okay. Awesome. So you three are going to the street celebrations for the moment, and then Zaiden and Renji are going to the ball.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe so.
All right. So we'll start with the street celebration. The streets are much like the previous celebrations that you have seen going on, are full to the brim of people. You even see the guy that you saw the other day who took your picture, just going around taking everybody else's picture, though he seems to be getting a few more customers at this point. But there are certainly plenty of stands of people selling various things, a couple of games to play, as well as a couple of other a couple of food stands as well, which do indeed sell fried meat. Big. Anything you guys in particular wanted to do in this instance, or is it just to enjoy the ambience as you were going around?
Well, first of all, Max is gonna try and stick to the edges to ease Maxwell into this sort of thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't just want to throw him into it like he was.
Yeah. Maxwell certainly seems uncomfortable, more or less as uncomfortable as you were the first time this happened. But he just sticks by your side as best he can as he watches everything happen.
And like the con will run back and forth between the stands, between the Maxes and like to the other ones, just, oh, you should try this, and then goes over and runs back, oh, you should try that, and so on and so forth.
Also, Max is going to try and explain it to Maxwell in the way that's kind of like, so whenever anything important happens, for some reason everyone comes outside and fills up the streets with, stuff.
Right. That seems...
I'm still trying to figure out why. I think it's because people spend money.
Well, when big stuff happens, or when there's holidays or things like that, people like to get together and celebrate and have a good time, depending on what the holiday's for. Because there's like some holidays that are about remembering people that, have...
Max was about to ask what a holiday is and then closes his mouth.
And then there's some where it's about trying to give each other things or be nice. And there's other holidays where if there's holidays for everything because people like to celebrate stuff. Some of them are small, some of them are big. Like there's Arbor Day. I think Zaiden probably really likes that one, to be honest. But, like people just like to do things, and this is...
Why would he like that one? What's that one about?
trees.
Okay.
But like there's all sorts of different things in regards to it, and this is an important event, I think, because it's someone's becoming the new king. I think that's what that means.
And the king is the guy in charge of everything in the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And outside the walls?
Well, that's up for debate according to the Civil War. Hikan doesn't say that. Hikan just kind of shrugs. Like, he's doing his best to explain, but there's certain things that's just, as you've known him, it's probably just a bit out of his grasp. He gets the basic gist of it, but that's about it.
You still know more than the two of us.
And he's trying his best.
Yeah.
And so some people like to do contests or do things to win prizes and feel good. Like, I think last time that we had this one, I know I beat Sho in an eating contest. You don't know Sho, but he kind of looks like me and Renji and Zaiden. But yeah, I beat him in an eating contest, and him and Renji tried to do an archery thing with cuckoos, which just sounds really stupid. Man, here, I'll show you a game, and Hikan will find like a random game.
Okay. As you're perusing the stalls, you see what appears to be a fairly you see a middle-aged looking Hylian man wearing a bandana on his head, and he's leaning over a small table upon which are 3 overturned cups and a small ball that sits in front of them. And he looks up and sees the 3 of you, and he smiles and says, hello, welcome. Would you like to try a game of guess?
What's guess?
Simple. I will put this ball underneath one of these cups, and then I'll move the cups around so that it's hard to see where it goes. And then you can put your money down to bet which one of these cups the ball is under. If you guess right, you get to keep your money. I'll give you a small prize. If you guess wrong, then I take your money, and you can keep on guessing for as long as I keep shuffling the cups.
Okay, sure, I'll give it a try.
Okay. So he kind of takes the ball, he puts it under the center cup, and he starts swirling it around. He then stops, lifts the cup to show which one the ball is under, puts it down, shuffles some more, and he keeps doing this after a while. And as he's doing this, he kind of begins to try and make small talk. It's like, so, how are you enjoying the celebrations thus far?
I'm enjoying them okay, but I also just like the food mostly. How are you guys liking it so far? As I'm trying to look, I'm guessing Maxwell's just kind of nibbling at the meat.
He's nibbling a bit and going, there's a lot of people.
Through clenched teeth, it's fine.
Yeah. After a moment, he does a bit more shuffling and then stops the cups and over his hand says, "Now, which one is the ball under?"
Hikan's just gonna give a random guess because he's money kind of thing, and he'll say, that one, and he points to the right one, his right, so the guy's left.
Okay. He lifts the cup, and you see that there is indeed the ball under the cup. He says, excellent work. He puts it down, and he leans over and he provides you with what appears to be a small kind of like a small leather bag. He says, I got this from a lovely little stand just outside of town the other day. They call it the Dongo Jerky. And he provides you with the small bag and says, would you like another game?
I take a look at Max and Maxwell.
Maxwell kind of just... he's too mesmerized by the crowds, mostly.
Fine, I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah, if there is more small talk, Hikan does kind of just ferry the questions, mostly.
Yeah.
Max is not answering any questions, he's just staring at the things.
Yeah. So he puts the ball under the cup and he shuffles them around again. He does try to make small talk, but as most of the small talk is being taken by Hikan, it doesn't appear to be doing much of a good job distracting people from the sleight of hand that's going on. Eventually, after a while, he stops and asks you to guess which one of the cups, and you know for certain that is not the left one.
So like, shit, which one was it? Taps the middle one.
He kind of like places a hand and then looks up to you and says, "You sure?"
No. But
Insight.
But isn't that the point?
Yeah, feel free to roll insight.
11.
11.
13.
13. Looking over it, he you're not sure why he asked the question. But
It is another point of the game.
yeah. He does. Okay. And he slowly lifts up the cup, and it reveals that it indeed is under the middle cup. He's like, congratulations. He leans over and he provides you with another bag of Dodongo jerky and says, well done, very observant.
I'm just watching, but anyway.
But yeah. So you continue to enjoy your revelries at the street ceremonies. In the meantime, within the castle, as things have happened, Renji and Zidon, you have decided to attend the ball that precedes these specific events. Now, much like the previous, it seems to be set up like the previous time. You have Sharp and Flat who are composing music in one corner. The same kind of generic songs that seem to be going on. A number of the nobles and other members of the higher societies of Hyrule have gathered and are dancing and mingling within the center of the room. There are the two long tables either side of the room where you would have people eating their food and stuff like that. And you do see a great many members of the gentry there. The ones you don't see immediately are Lord Whitestone. He seems to have decided to not attend this time around. Of course, Simeon is not there. But
it would be surprising if he were.
would be very surprising if he was there. However, the rest of the royal court of Hyrule seems to be in attendance, and they're all going about their business as they do. Your perceptions are both high enough that you can definitely tell that there's a lot of gossip going around about the nature of Cassandra and Lord Whitestone, and even Lady Risha and Grastel. It seems that the news of the traitorous nature of her father's work seems to not have escaped the gossipy net that is the noble court.
So, before we get on to dealing with the gossip, using telepathy to Renji, Zidon is going to ask, so are we going to find, I believe it's Lord Rickshaw, the asshole guy?
Why do we want to look for him?
To make him smelly again.
You've got my attention.
It works very well last time.
I do remember it did, yes.
Where is Lord Rickshaw?
Where is Lord Rickshaw?
Oh, well, you find Lord Rickshaw very easily. Much like before, he is talking up a storm with a group of people who would rather not be talking to him.
Okay, so...
He's a creature of habit, I see.
Yeah.
I'm not too good at sleight of hand.
Am I able to help him with his sleight of hand?
Yeah, you can kind of like stand in front of him, like tactically maneuver yourself so that Renji is in a position where there's not many people. Like you can have Renji like back against a wall or in a corner somewhere, and then he's talking to you, who is like, because you're a fairly tall fellow, and if you stand,
Can I then
stance,
use my stealth?
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. Because that is a difference between +2 and +8. No, +2 and +10, so a +8 difference.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it with assistance to roll again?
Oh, thank you.
Hell.
26.
Okay. So, expertly, you disguise you block people's view of your hand motions as part of somatic components of your spell, and the verbal components, if there are any, seem to look as if you're just having a normal conversation with Zayden in front of you. And between your efforts, you can see after a moment that the faces of those who Rickshaw is talking to appear to visibly grimace, and they, one by one in quick succession, immediately excuse themselves and go and talk to other people. Rickshaw, for his part, kind of senses the smell as well, and after he is left alone, smells his robes and frowns to himself before he excuses himself and pretty much leaves the ball entirely.
That takes... It's going to stay on him for an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Line up him to find a cleaner.
Wonderful. Now we can deal with the gossip.
Indeed.
Although now we've added an extra bit of gossip to the gossip.
Yes, it does seem that Lord Rickshaw has some difficulty with social events.
Oh dear. But yeah, with
We're not petty.
No, of course you're not. With Rickshaw having departed, the rest of the event, like the gossip does seem to mix in with, like, this happened more than once, so
Yes.
it's quite clearly a habit now. But the talk of Rickshaw's hideous odor seems to now be contesting with conversations about Lord Grastel and Cassandra Summerborn and everything that has currently transpired within the court of Hyrule. Like, it's been a very turbulent time. Like, everything seems to have started off rather poorly, because you've got Simeon's death, followed by the death of the king, the loss of Lady Sophitia, the loss of Marcus Whitestone, which led to the departure of Lord Raphael Whitestone. News coming down that Lady Risha's father, the former Lord of Defense, was committing not only treason but heresy. That the person appointed by Whitestone was on the take from an underground black market of magical items. It's been a bit of a mess, to put it lightly.
I want to try and see if, with my earring of disguise, I can try and like see what the well, not so much the public's, but the gentry and the nobles' ideas of if there's any talk of the Storm's Eye.
Give me a charisma investigation roll.
Okay, I'm charisma investigation.
So if you're not proficient in investigation,
It's
just give me a
plus-
flat charisma.
Okay, that's a flat charisma check. 7.
It's hard to get them to talk about it. As you kind of like, as you use your earring of disguise in order to make yourself not look like you, in order to try and get kind of inconspicuous opinions, it doesn't appear that whenever you try and get them to focus on that particular topic of conversation, you can't seem to get them to stick. Like, it usually only goes as far as, oh, they're all right, I guess, and then they go back to whatever they were gossiping about.
Okay.
Fuck you too, random citizen.
Or also probably something like, oh yeah, they were involved in the thing we're talking about. Let's talk more about the thing we're talking about.
I'm more like trying to gauge like all this talk where does it actually come from, instead of like name dropping the perhaps secret task force that we are part of. Well, not so much secret, but on the down low.
Yeah. The whenever you get like try to talk about a source for any information, it's mainly just like, oh, I heard it from this person, and then they say, oh, I've heard it from this person. It kind of goes a bit circular. You don't really get anything like you don't get like a definitive sort of it came from this person sort of deal.
Right. Yes. Okay. I move probably to one of the corridors and turn back into regular old Renji. And join our friend Zayden.
Okay.
Zayden will remember he can do a thing and will take Renji aside just for a moment.
Okay.
Cast a what the does I have to go to that?
Eagle Splendor?
Eagle Splendor. For some reason it won't let me cast it at the third level, but third level for the both of us.
Okay.
So we are charismatic as can be.
Hooray.
And then we'll just continue enjoying the
Okay.
party, really.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out, seeing who looks like they're about to cause trouble.
Yeah. With your passive perceptions, you don't really need to worry about keeping an eye on things. Like, you can clearly see everybody and for whatever they're doing. Most people are just kind of still intermingling and talking. The only people who even like the full order of chaplains are there, just doing their part in their religious vestments. You do spy Lady Risha, who has deigned to attend the party, though she is currently sitting by herself at one of the tables and just watching people. And she has like her scribe standing nearby, as most people do, but she has not deigned to interact with it, and neither has anybody deigned to interact.
My memory's bad, so I don't remember who she is.
We killed her dad.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Was he the blaspheming one?
Yes.
Okay, that's difficult.
I feel a little bit more charismatic now, and
I'll pat you on the back and wish you good luck.
Thank you. I'm going to try and I'm just going to try and see, without like really sounding like it, that I'm worried, to try and ask, like, kind of gauge how she's doing.
Okay.
It's
So-
basically a deception check for everyone around her.
I mean, yeah, she has kind of a wide berth, so it's fine. As you kind of approach her, you can gather from, at least from your passive insight from the moment, not doing great. She's quite clearly a mix of tired and depressed. She's dressed formally. She is dressed for the occasion, but it just looks like that she is mentally exhausted. And she kind of looks to you briefly and says, "Oh, hello, Renji.
Good afternoon, Lady Risha.
Are you enjoying the party?"
There are other things I'd rather be doing, to be perfectly honest. I have some inkling that some of my friends are out and about on the streets having much more fun than any of us here are.
I see.
What about yourself? Is this the sort of thing you'd like to stay? I know a little bit about the castle. I could probably make sure that it's a little bit more fun than just sitting around here.
Make a persuasion roll.
Okay. 13.
And
Just
again.
for...
I have
Oh, and
advantage, roll
again.
again.
Yes. 23.
Sidon knew that Renji would need help.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Sidon is just helping himself to all the fancy food.
Good.
Lady Risha kind of watches the crowd for a little longer and looks down at the table, takes in a quiet breath. How's a little time away from the crowd would be? And she stands up. She turns to her scribe and says, "Stay here. If anyone asks if anyone, for whatever reason, asks where I am, just tell them that I excused myself from." And the scribe simply nods. And Lady Risha will move around the table to walk with you for a while, Renji. Where do you take her in the castle?
I'm going to look like a nerd. The library.
So you take her to the library, and it's very quiet in here. It's quite clear that the vast majority of the scribes have disappeared. Mara is there though. She's kind of like behind the desk briefly, though she's not sitting down. She's wearing this kind of very kind of conservative dark red ball gown, and it was quite clear she was meant to be attending the ball, but has decided to attend to other work for the most part. She kind of looks up and says, "Oh, hello, Renji, Lady Risha.
Good to see you. I take it you also didn't wish to attend the ball?
Yes and no. Column A, a little column of B. I would have liked to have had a look around, but I was kind of waylaid a little bit at work. So I guess I am a little. And Lady Reese says, "Oh my dear, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to intrude." And Mara says, "No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Feel free to have a look around. It's going to be a little bit easier to deal with without the other scribes here. But I will need to, sorry." And she begins to return to kind of the work she has. And Lady Risha kind of nods slightly and then says, "Well, this is..."
As far as I know, it's the biggest library in the whole of Hyrule. There is no other place that has as much collected wisdom and knowledge as this place.
Those, with the exception of Nehru's own halls.
Perhaps, though I dare Hylian has set foot in those halls. Probably not since the closing of the Golden Realm. So, it's actually quite an important place for me here.
Oh, really?
Believe it or not, I may have found my destiny here.
Destiny.
It's a little bit out there, I grant. But yes, if it wasn't for this place, I wouldn't have learned things I needed to strike out on my own. And if I didn't have my training, then I don't think there's been so much lately. I think as much bad things have happened. hope that me and my companions have done at least some good to outweigh the bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to approach that topic.
He's quiet. Since my father left, concerned, at least from public opinion, sort of standpoint, that I would never truly outgrow the shadow that he left. Little did I know, shadow was over. The intention sordid. Came to light. It's hard not to have the best of bulls within the city. You cry, say that you are likely to end up with a similar that same sense, as painful as that experience was, it was also enlightening. It suddenly occurred to me that the job on me. I suppose a part of me realized that I just need a dark reminder. I know you nothing but beneficial to, and much like the rest of the citizenry, have my thanks for all you've done. And there has been. I am sorry. Perhaps the cold shoulder.
You have nothing to apologize for, Lady Risha. The way in which we broached the subject, albeit with the best of intentions, was, I dare say, tactless.
Was there ever really a way to give the news any form of tact?
At that, Renji gives a one smile and says, I honestly doubt it. But I am not the wisest person. But I hope that the knowledge that we all are not our parents gives you some comfort.
He kind of turns to look at you for a moment and contemplate something. And after a moment takes a step towards you. There's the past few days have been since the spread through the rest of the court like a virus. Everyone is hitting me, even if it is a distraction. This has been remarkably sweet of you. Thank you for that. And then briefly for a moment she leans forward to give you a kiss on the cheek.
I step back.
You step back?
I step back.
Okay.
And say, I am sorry, Lady Risha. I appreciate your affection, but I fear it is misplaced.
Kind of like looks down. There's a clear look of disappointment on her face, but she doesn't make any more of it and says, I apologize.
It is no no fault of yours.
I
I'm sorry.
return to. I should return to state.
If you wish, I can let your scribe know. Or
It's okay. He will be coming back with me, so to be self.
very well. Again, my apologies, and I wish you a good day.
Slightly, and makes her way by herself back through the castle corridors to find her scribe and then head home. After the kind of like a brief moment, after seeing Lady Risha make a hurried exit out of the library, Mara kind of pokes her head around the corner and says, "Everything okay?"
I'm still standing there. I may have made a mistake, but I think I may have avoided a bigger one. I don't know.
Looks at you a bit sadly and says,
I probably slumped to the ground against one of the bookcases for a moment.
back and looks to you and says, "I don't know about any of this sort of thing. From what I understood, she's in a very vulnerable position, and oftentimes it can be dangerous for things to happen. People are vulnerable. Perhaps if there is something that to be happening, better done, have clearer heads. But for now,
I killed her father. Maybe I didn't like get the killing blow, but I was an instrument in ending his life. Why would she?
there's a lot of things to unpack on that, I will admit. There's one thing, like, I haven't spent a lot of time around people. I know that much. And probably I'm not the best person to give advice on this. But
I appreciate anything.
people with their feelings are weird. Sure, you might have part of his death, and yeah, in certain cases, a dad is a dad regardless of what they do. But it's clear that what Lord Grastel was doing was not the actions of a loving person. He was actively trying to sabotage the king. Saved the king. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot to unpack there. Maybe Zayden would have better advice, but for now,
Maybe.
just...
Is it okay if I stay here for a moment?
Sure, absolutely.
Is there anything I can help you with?
It's okay. I've just got a few things I need to write down. Just take all the time you need. Let me know if you need anything.
Maybe stacking some books, or
Okay.
I feel like I need to do something
Well,
to keep a bit of a grasp on.
I think you know how the organizational aspect of the bookshelves in the place goes. So if you want to go ahead and just rearrange things, maybe, just put everything back in order. The scribes that also work here never do. So if you
I've noticed, yeah. There should be. Is there some sort of protocol on shelving books with dangerous knowledge?
Kind of like raises the brow and says,
Asking for a friend?
we don't really do dangerous
Uh,
knowledge, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, well, and I grab from my bag of holding the tome of Twilight knowledge that I found in the secret cubbyholes.
As far as?
Found in the library, and I kind of point out where exactly I found it.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe it's best to leave that be. That there are a couple of shells that need to be.
I'll
Um,
go do that.
Thank you. She
Yeah.
continues back with her work and stuff. In the meantime, Zayden, what have you done with yourself in the process of all that happening?
Probably tried to conduct myself with enough level of decorum to reflect well upon our party
Okay.
whilst eating tasty food.
Give me a performance check. And you have Eagle Splendor going, so you still have event.
Natural 20 for a 22.
Nice. Yes, you do an amazing job. Everyone thinks...
Somehow Zayden turns into an elegant noble for a night.
Yeah.
Till the clock strikes midnight.
Yeah. Somehow the person with the lowest performance score becomes party face for the rest of the night. But yeah, you strike up conversation with other members of the gentry, and they find you delightful. They just spend a lot of their time talking to you and getting to know you and your exploits, and they'll tell you about them and their exploits and stuff. They find it remarkably entertaining.
I'll tell them about the war I prevented up to the northeast without explaining that it was between two rabbit tribes.
Yeah. But yeah, and it kind of goes on like this for a time until eventually a scribe comes through the main door and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to the temple. We are about to begin the coronation of King Marius Edward Hyrule III." And the gentry kind of like look to each other and continue chatting as they make their way out. And that same scribe will run around to grab you, Renji, after a time. And there will be a runner that's sent out into the streets to grab Hikan and Max as well. I think on that note, since we are over time, we will end the session. Yeah, that's fair. So, thank you everyone for listening in to episode number 66 of Hyrule Chronicles Legend of Zelda D&D campaign. I am Articulate T, the Game Master, and with me as always, I have Renji Vox being played by the Nether Lad.
Panic!
I have Hikan Sio being played by Alvarez.
It's always nice when the face is also awkward.
Yeah. And I've had Zayden Shari being played by RoboPirate.
I need a pumpkin chariot.
I have had Max being played by Keisha.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
And we will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye now.
Bye!